Well, hundreds of U.S. troops have landed in Norway for a 6-month deployment. Despite a warning from Russia, almost 300 U.S. Marines will participate in drills with the Norwegian Army less than 1,500 kilometers from the Russian border. Now, it's the first time since World War II that foreign troops have been allowed to be stationed in the Scandinavian country. Officials have denied any link between troops deployment and NATO's concerns over Russia, but it coincides with the U.S. sending several thousand troops to Poland to beef up its Eastern European allies. Earlier, senior Russian officials said the deployment is part of a U.S. military buildup and that it makes Norway fair game in the event of a nuclear confrontation. The U.S.-led Western military alliance has ramped up its presence in Eastern Europe following the Ukraine crisis. Moscow says Washington seeks to constrain Russia. Let's cross over to Washington, D.C. I'd like to welcome Mr. James Jatras, former U.S. Senate foreign policy analyst, to the program. Thank you, sir, for being with us. What do you make of this? Now, we've had the major buildup in Poland, and now even in Norway, we have troops on the ground. What's going on? What kind of message is Washington trying to send?
Well, I think we have to look at the timing, first of all. This is happening in the closing days, literally the closing days of the Obama administration. Put this in the context of the accusations against Russian hacking, the calls for more sanctions against Moscow, even people saying that Trump is an illegitimate president because of the Russian connection of some sort. This is all a political pressure game to try to box him in and to prevent any warming of relations between Washington and Moscow, which is what he says he wants to do. This is an effort to raise tensions and to try to sabotage what his intended policy is before it gets a chance to start.
Now, tell me, how do you think this can affect actually incoming President Donald Trump? Because you said basically sabotaging before he even starts. Is it, for example, with these policies that have been made in these waning days of Obama and sending troops to so many different parts of the world, especially concentrating on Europe? Is it a policy? Is it something that actually, when Trump comes in, if he doesn't want it, can he change it? Or is it set right now for a certain time? Tell me about that side of things.
No, it really can't be said. He will be the commander-in-chief in 4 days, and that is that. And he has said he wants to meet with Mr. Putin early on. He wants to talk about arms control, nuclear weapons, and other issues. He certainly wants to talk about Syria and cooperation against Daesh. I think he will want to move forward with that. Will there be mechanical questions and how do we change the troop rotations and draw them down if he wants to? Yes, but those are things that he can do if he wants to. The question is what kind of team will he have carrying out his policy when he gets in? And is there the danger, by the way, of some kind of an incident taking place, even in the next few days, that may change?
Why would outgoing President Obama, as you said, literally just a few days left, a couple of days left, why now? Why would he really want to do this? Is it just to make things more difficult for the incoming president? Or is it something else? This is the man that won the Nobel Peace Prize, but all we see are decisions that are being made, a total war hawk. I think that's one of the legacies that many people would say about him after these 8 years. Why go out like this?
That's right. Obama was elected as the anti-Bush, and instead he just simply turned out to be yet another Bush in many respects. Maybe it's spite. Maybe that's part of it. You know, his candidate to succeed him lost, Hillary Clinton, who would have been even more hawkish than he is. But I think part of it is it's not even him. I've always thought he was something of an empty suit when it came to national security issues. We're really talking about the deep state. We're talking about the huge apparatus here in the United States, in Washington, that has made lucrative careers for generations on East-West confrontation, and frankly, in supporting terrorist organizations in places like Syria and in Libya and other countries. And business as usual is being threatened by this new guy, and they don't like it one little bit.
All right, we'll just have to wait and see what takes place. Thank you so much for being with us, Mr. James Joshua, former U.S. Senate foreign policy analyst out of Washington.